Ride your bike 202 miles in one day? Could you do it? This past weekend was America's longest one-day road cycling race, Lodija. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Cameron Hoffman, founder of Beetroot Pro, for coming back and smashing the course with a time of 9 hours and 2 minutes. He averaged 22.47 miles per hour in a 202-mile race with almost 9,000 feet of climbing. And that's his 5th time winning the race. That's just insanity. I am not sponsored by Beetroot Pro, but I should mention I do get some free product in exchange for some shout outs here and there. But the only reason for that is because I approached Cameron directly because I was already using the product and I really believed in it. If you have a product you want to promote, then just go out and win one of the toughest races in America. Easy peasy, right? Well, anyway, hopefully it catches on. If any of you are interested in trying it out, there's a link in my description. So 2 years ago, Lodija was the very first race I had ever signed up for, and I have now done it 2 times. I didn't want to gamble with another entry fee this year for a race that may or may not happen, so when the time came to sign up, I opted out of it. So now I'm sort of bummed I didn't sign up, but I'm not gonna lie. An actual race that I love to do just happened this past weekend, and if anything, it lit a fire under my butt that has been idle for the past few months. So now I'm really excited to start training again and get race ready just in case 2020 brings some normalcy and a whole lot of races. Because honestly, I think at this point, if I were to even go out and do a small local race, I would probably get crushed on that course. So now I actually want to get serious about training again and becoming the best athlete I can be. My latest efforts have me feeling like I have a lot of work to do. So I'm basically just gonna start from scratch and build. So if anyone wants to join me in the process, let me know in the comments. We can all push each other. And while you're at it, please don't forget to smash that like button to help the YouTube algorithm. So first things first, it's great to know what our bases are in swimming, cycling, and running. So we should all put some effort into seeing where we stand right now. Swimming, personally, this is my weakest discipline. And I think I'm basically a newbie again. I mean, during the real off season back before this Corona stuff happened, I was injured and I couldn't run or ride my bike, so I was swimming sometimes 5 or 6 times a week. And I was even getting really good at my flip turns and beginning to feel more like a swimmer. But since March, I can probably count on 2 hands how many times I've actually swam. I've only been swimming in the open water and none of those efforts felt pretty. So what am I gonna do about this? Well, until I feel comfortable going back to the gym and swimming in the air pool, I'm going to commit to at least 2 open water sessions per week. I would prefer 5, but it's a long drive, so 2 is gonna have to do. Not enough to satisfy, but I will start to incorporate some dry land exercises to help bring strength on some of those other days. So where I am when it comes to cycling, that's actually my strongest discipline after all. But right now, I'm probably using coronavirus as an excuse to not get back out there riding with my friends, because if I'm being completely honest with y'all, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna get dropped like a hot potato when I actually start riding with other people again. I mean, I definitely need to build my cycling legs back up. So this is where the infamous FTP test comes into play. I did an FTP test last year before I began training for race season, and my FTP was 173. I never did another one during that race season, which I kind of regret, but to give you an idea, at my peak performance during my 70.3, I averaged 185 watts for those 56 miles. I just did another FTP test this past month and my FTP now is 170. So I definitely have some work to do. And for those of you who don't know what their FTP is, another option is to train based on heart rate. FTP really isn't all that important to know, but it does give you another option for training. And personally, I like training based on power and heart rate combined. For me, it's a better gauge for my effort, and also I can better know if I'm in need of some extra time off. If I'm pushing as hard as I feel I can, my heart rate is high, but my power is lower than it normally is, then that's generally a decent sign saying that I have to spend some more time on recovery. My plans to conquer this issue is to start cycling almost every day. So 3 days per week will be easy, at least 1 hour rides just to get my legs spinning. I will do intervals 1 day per week and 1 long ride every week. I will increase efforts on the intervals and the long ride each week and do this for a couple months to build my endurance back up. After a couple months, I will make adjustments depending on how efficient my heart is starting to feel again. Right now, any small efforts I attempted to do shoot my heart rate straight into zones 4 and 5, so I know I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time doing those low heart rate workouts to become more efficient. Basically, I'm gonna train slow so I can get fast. Last but not least is the run. I I'm actually starting to enjoy running, but it's not my favorite. Therefore, I'm going to try to do at least a little bit on most days, with the exception of recovery days, of course. And I'm also going to have to ease myself into it because my legs aren't ready for big running miles just yet. I will do a couple brick runs per week, one long run, and one day for speed work. I'm also going to try to throw as much uphill running as possible because that St. George 70.3 run course is quite brutal. And with 10 miles being uphill, the last 3 miles down isn't going to necessarily feel easy. If I will be seeing any of you there next year, make sure to watch my last video in which I did a breakdown of this amazing and super challenging course. But I almost forgot, the run isn't actually the last thing. Of course, I really need to step up my recovery and strength training game this year. I don't want to risk getting injured again, so I will do an hour of strength training at least 2 times per week. I'm sure all of this sounds like a lot, but I'm going to take it easy in the beginning and limit myself to a couple hours per day to get it all done, except for the days I can do the long rides and run. But I don't want to be going hard on those days. If I'm being honest, this is the last week it will be in the hundreds in Vegas, so I'm excited to get back outside with no risk of melting. So I'm super stoked about getting back at it, and I hope some of you will want to join me so we can hold each other accountable. So feel free to add me on either Instagram or TikTok, and you can DM me so we can get to work.